Vaping, what is happening? Joel of All Vapes coming at you once again. Today we're talking about some amazing stuff, but it's not e-juice. It's another visit from our guys over at Ijoy USA. We're talking about the Captain S sub-ohm tank with the new sliding top fill system. Okay, so they were awesome enough to send me pretty much everything that they have to offer, save a few other things. But you know what? There's only one Joe of All Vapes, and I probably wouldn't be able to review everything all the time anyways. It's been a struggle lately, guys, but thanks for sticking it with me. Incidentally, if this is your first time watching one of my reviews, smash on that subscribe button up yonder so you don't miss any of the latest and greatest when I can bring it to y'all. You know I'm gonna. Okay, so let's take a look at the Ijoy Captain S sub-ohm tank. Now this is gonna be a raw review, which means that I have never even tried this bad boy. I've opened it up, I've taken it for a little dance, about as much as I can dance with it without trying it. But this is going to be a raw review straight with you guys for the first time, and it's it's been kind of a cool experience so far being able to do it this way. It actually saves me a little bit more time, and I get to actually say, you know what, I've never tried this before, and mean it. So the follow-up reviews, they will come, but let's do it this way first of all. I'm not going to get in depth with this. I'm just going to show you in front of the camera this time. So this is pretty much what you're going to get with the case, all that good stuff. Pretty much similar design from everything that Ijoy is very used to. So I'm going to give you the specs here real quick. First of all, it's a 4 milliliter capacity, and once again, you're getting a 25 millimeter diameter phat-boy. So pretty much very consistent with their normal Captain sub-ohm tank, their first design here. A brand new design with that sliding top fill ability, which is really going to be cool. Now, once again, they're going with the threadless design on the coils, if you can see on the top there, which so far I have seen it really does still deliver an amazing conductivity, and I think a lot of people were worried about that, without the ability to be able to screw it into the actual head where you're going to get the same conductivity. And really all you need is the connection between 2 points. Electricity is really not all that hard to figure out, you know what I mean? But this is going to add to a much simpler system when it comes to replacing your coils. You're not going to have to get and fumble and sticky and fingers and all that stuff. Pop it out, throw it away, pop in another one, boom, you're good to go. You know what I mean? So let's take a look at this bad boy. Now, first of all, you're going to get 2 coils that come with this, and reading off of the back of the box here. So first of all, you're going to get the 0.3 ohm, which comes already packaged in the coil. That's going to bust it up between 60 to 80 watts. Okay, so that's the pre-installed one. The second one that you're going to get is the 2 ohm, the 0.2 ohm, which is going to get you anywhere between 60 to 100 watts. Now, for me, that is a perfect wattage output. I'm not really going to go much further than that, you know what I mean? There's a lot of guys back in the day that still go for the massive unregulated devices. For me, anything between 50 to 200 watts is really all I need in particular, you know what I mean? So let's take a look at the overall design spectrum here. Pretty cool design. If you look on the back there, you see where it says push. That's facilitating for the slide top fill, just like that, boom, okay? And there is the sliding portion in which you refill or fill from the get-go. So we're just gonna unscrew this bad boy. I'm gonna take this apart right now, and we're gonna take a look at what the innards have to offer. Okay, so you've got your glass tank sleeve. You got the interior portion right here, which is basically where the juice flow goes in. Okay, so full bottom air intake. I pretty much keep mine completely open whatsoever. Gets the greatest amount of air intake. Of course, that is my personal preference. And let's take this bad boy apart just a little bit more. I can show you what I mean by the threadless coil design. So taking the bottom portion apart, you can see where the bottom post goes into the 510 connector, right on the bottom right there. And of course, the threadless coil. This is the 0.3. Once again, the 60 to 80 watt. Oh, and there it goes a-flying. Okay, so that's one of the things that maybe having a threaded coil will facilitate in, and not having these things fling around. But as you can see, it's a pretty sturdy, stout coil. It really is a nice, fat, thick body to this. A solid amount of weight. I'd say that's probably, I don't know, maybe a half an ounce. It really is a solid design on this bad boy. Now, I almost feel bad throwing these things away because of the amount of metal that are put into these, but it's a great solid design on that. So once again, with the threadless design, it is really just a very simple procedure putting these bad boys in. So you just pop it in, and the rubber seal O-rings is basically exactly what keeps these things intact. So the bottom portion here screws on. I'm gonna screw that right back on there. Boom. Okay, nice and tight. Now here's the thing I love about the top cap here, the sliding open top refill. Boom, just like that. Now, you could take this apart, I think, if you really wanted to. Not really a necessity in which to do so, because all you've really got to do is just take this off, wash it out underneath a little bit of hot running water, and you're going to clean just about anything you need to clean. Now, it does have a rubber seal in order to sort of prevent, just spillover, and just to kind of keep things just a little bit neater in the effort to keep the flow contained. The one cool thing that I like about what the Captain and Ijoy has been doing lately with these designs is pretty much anything and everything to prevent overheating. And the newer designed Captain tanks I have seen have really kept that true. Now, some of the stuff that Ijoy made in the past, especially in regards to the Ijoy EXO XL, I love that tank personally. I actually get a lot of use out of it. But my one peeve with that tank in particular is that the thing really has a tendency to overheat. It's pretty solid on the overheating spectrum, but a lot of that also depends on the device you're putting it in. So make sure that you've got 2 identical batteries, or 3 or 4, depending on whatever device you're using. That helps with the wattage output just a little bit more to make sure that you're regulating everything on the top of the safety scale, you know what I mean? So we're gonna put that aside for now. And of course, you're going to get the spare glass tank ring, and you're going to get a little spare set of doodads here. Now, here's the cool thing. You've got your little spare rubber ring. You've got your adapter here just in case you want to swap out the drip tip, but you got yourself a little Allen wrench, and if you'll notice, that little white portion right there is the rubber stopper that when you push this thing open, right there, like I said, you do not have to take this apart, but you absolutely can. And if you noticed on the inside of this, when I got, I don't know how tight the shot came when I was showing this to everybody, you do have a little Allen screw in there. Okay, so the cool thing about that is, just in case anything kind of rubs a little bit raw, you actually do want to take this thing completely apart. You bust that Allen screw out, you basically just take off the drip tip right there, and everything is pretty self-explanatory and very self-contained, as you can see right there. So take the Allen screw out, you can replace that little rubber washer stopper, whatever it is that you want to call it. They're not real specific on those little itty-bitty things, you know what I mean? And just put everything back together, and away you go. So the one thing that I dig about options like this is that there's a lot of people out there that are like, nah, keep it as simple as humanly possible, and I'm okay with keeping it simple, but I'm also an incredibly crafty individual. I like being able to know that I can tweak things, that I can design them, or kind of, just basically take care of the things that I want to take care of instead of having to have somebody else do it. That's one of the reasons why I'm a gunsmith, is because, if I can't tweak something to my own personal individual pleasure, you're not really going to dig it all that much, you know what I mean? So the cool thing about the Captain S, I love that. I'm just going to call it the Captain S because that's what it's called, the Captain S. The cool thing about the Captain S is that while still keeping it simple and an incredibly good design, you get a solid 4 milliliters of juice capacity, 2 different wattage outputs with the threadless coils. While keeping everything simple, it is still a very sophisticated design, especially to make sure that this thing does not overheat. So that's a really cool aspect. Now what I'm going to do is unscrew the original Captain tank, and I'm just going to give you kind of a quick comparison between the two. So you can see the same 25 milliliters, or millimeters if you will, the same 25 millimeter in diameter, okay? So pretty much identical as far as certain aspects of the design, but you can definitely see the difference. Original, upgrade, original, upgrade. Now, I mean, it really does make not too much of a difference in terms of ease. The Captain is a really, really good design, but the specifics on how the Captain S really works to the degree of a new upgrade for the community is indicative of the quality and nature and how Ijoy comes out with this stuff. It's like the electronic industry. I mean, you know, I could go out and buy myself a new iPhone, but 6 months later, the newest one's going to come out. You know what I mean? These guys are pretty much on top of their game in everything that they do. So what I'm going to do is screw the Captain S bad boy, and I'm going to take some good juice. So what we're going to start out with here is a little bit of frozen Ophelia from my guys over at Vapes, and we're going to give this a little fill. 4 milliliters, like I said. Okay, so this is completely raw. Never used this before. It's going to sit, it's going to prime, it's going to do its thing, and hopefully it's going to do it well. And the one thing that I have noticed with it, basically what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking through the air intake to see if there's just an overabundance of liquid falling into the air intake. I've experienced that with tanks before. Whether or not I've experienced with Ijoy tanks before is irrelevant. The point is that a lot of these designs, even in their best of intentions, still leak. It's just kind of the way it is, you know, and I mean, we can deliberate on what the purposes of that are, and, you know, the viscosity of the liquid or the quality of the tank, you know, yada, yada, so on and so forth, but it just is an inevitability. Sometimes the best designs have the smallest flaws, but it's a good thing that these guys come out with so many new different designs, because every time they come up with one, it's an upgrade, which is a very good thing. Okay, so we're working on the 0.3 ohm, which is the 60 to 80 watt. Now, right now, I've got that busted up to 80 watts, about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're gonna let that sit in there and prime just a tinge. Okay, so while we're doing that, incidentally, I want you guys to go down to the comment section below. At the top of the comment section, you're gonna see a link that sends you right to Ijoy, their website, where you can get all of this stuff. It'll direct you to that, as well as a discount code that's going to save you $10 on every $40 purchase, which is a really sweet, cool deal. So you'll be able to buy something bigger, you'll be able to buy, you know, replacement coils, or maybe you want to splurge, buy yourself a new Captain S with the brand new Captain Mod that they have available that I have not yet gotten for review. Ijoy, hint, hint, hint. Blatant hint, but it is my show, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's, we've had this kind of sitting in here and chilling and doing its thing. Let's burn this up a little bit and see where we're going here. So 80 watts, 0.3 ohm coil, 60 to 80 total. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so an incredibly smooth draw, an amazingly smooth draw. Very, very smooth. As you can see, cloud production is incredibly solid. Now it's topping out at 80 watts, which is the highest availability on the 0.3 ohm that was pre-installed with the Captain S here. And half the reason why you're getting such solid cloud production is because the Vape stuff that I have, the frozen Ophelia, is a 75 VG ratio, so it's solid cloud for days, you know what I mean? But it also depends on a solid conductivity, and as you're seeing, if you can listen, that's a pretty quick conductivity for a non-threaded coil device. Smooth draw. I love, absolutely love the push slide top filling system, okay? So far this thing is incredibly cool. I'm getting absolutely no overheat going on from this thing, and it has the nice open air intake, 4 milliliter flow capacity tank, once again in the 25 diameter, which makes it really good for larger mods like this, like the Snow Wolf. Amazingly smooth and even burn on this bad boy. So let's kind of wrap everything all up together here. So I could get more in depth But the simplicity really is the finest aspect of most of what Ijoy has to offer. Everything I've tried from these guys is really, really amazing. Okay, so all of the specs I'll go through real quick. Some of the stuff that come with this: threadless coil head design, sliding top fill, obviously you know that, the Delrin wide bore drip tip, and of course it comes with that adapter just in case you want something a little bit smaller. A lot of people like a much smaller diameter hole on their drip tip for whatever reason, you know what I mean? Unique groove chassis, reduce heat transmission, and I could get into the nitty-gritty of that, into what they're talking about, but read your little instruction booklet that comes with this thing. It's less than $40 for the entire tank, guys. You got the time to read that, you know what I mean? Gold-plated 510 connection, the smoothest airflow and the best flavor. I tend to agree, okay? So you're gonna get the preloaded 0.3 ohm coil from 60 to 80, and then you're going to get the pre-packaged 0.2 ohm threadless coil from 60 to 100 watts, which I really think that is a perfect cap off for pretty much anybody. You got solid conduction going on there, as long as you're working with solid batteries and a really good device. For instance, the Ijoy Zenith mod. Now, the only reason I didn't use this phat-boy tonight for this review was because it's only a voltage output, and I wanted to be specific with the wattage. So what we're actually going to do is ramp it down from the 80, and we're going to go down pretty much just 10 watts at a time. Okay, so we're going to bring that down to 70 now and see what we got. Still a very solid conductivity, good, nice, smooth draw going from that at 70. A little bit cooler, obviously. The 80 was actually a nice amount of warmth, but it definitely wasn't burning at all. Sometimes you just get too hot and it kind of burns your tongue. So we're going to bring this down to 65 watts, 5 watts ahead of its lowest setting. That is actually a really good sweet spot, okay? It's still subtly warm, kind of room temp, if you will, with just enough coolness just to kind of chill it off. So we're gonna drop this down all the way down to its bottom wattage minimum capacity of 60 watts. And that is probably just a kicking your feet up, smooth, solid, sweet draw right there, okay? So everything in between, 65 is probably my sweet spot, actually, and it's going to prolong the battery life. Like I care about that. I've got enough batteries and batteries chargers going around, as I'm sure most of you guys do too. So let's kind of wrap everything up in a nice, tidy, neat little package. The Ijoy Captain S sub-ohm sliding top fill tank design. Really amazing design. For a recap, large bore drip tip, sliding design. Look at this, effortless. Boom, just gonna push it off to the side right there. There you go. Rubber stopper on the inside, so you can definitely take this bad boy off and replace it if need be, or just to be crafty and kind of check the thing out, check the internal structure. It makes it really easy to clean as well. I absolutely love, love, love the threadless coil design. I think it makes everything really smooth, neat, and tidy. Plus, it gives solid conductivity without the threaded coil design. And let's face it, how many times have you fumbled around with coils trying to screw it in and thread it in, and you're like, ugh, it's just driving you crazy. But this one, you don't have to do that because it has the rubber O-rings on all of the coils, and all you have to do is just give it a solid little push and it stays in place, okay? So the design of the chassis makes sure that it ensures you do not get overheating of any type, as well as the large bottom airflow. You're getting a really good design and a solid draw every single time. Really, really good stuff. Okay, so props once again to my folks over at Ijoy USA. Thank you so much for sticking it with Joe of All Vapes as usual. Ijoy, I love you guys. I also have the new Ijoy RTA coming out for review here pretty soon. Hopefully I'll be able to bust that out for you within the next coming week. Give Ijoy a shot. Definitely follow the link below. Use that code. Get a little bit of a discount. $10 off a $40 purchase. Doesn't get any better than that. You know what I'm saying, guys? So check out Ijoy and everything they have to offer. Go on to the Ijoy USA or Ijoy Global. That's the international division, the original OG guys. You know what I'm saying? On Instagram, give them some love. Give them a shout out. Tell them that Joe of All Vapes sent you. And get yourself the Ijoy S sliding top fill sub-ohm tank system. And you know what, guys? With 4 milliliter capacity, you're pretty solid for most of the darn day, especially if you're like me. You walk around and, I mean, I take 4 different mods to work with me. Now, if that's not being a vaping fiend, I don't know what is. Half of it's for review, the other half is, well, just because I'm a fiend. What can I say? Have an incredibly lovely day, and by all means, you keep it amazingly, wonderfully, stupendously cloudy. Hey everybody, this is Joe of All Vapes. Thank you for watching. For the best in vape reviews, pound that subscribe button, and don't forget, vaping saves lives.